Hey everyone, it's Melissa. Who are you?
Leah.
Leah, what are we talking about today?
Potomac, Maryland.
Potomac, Maryland indeed. Well, Potomac, Maryland, very exciting. It's in southern Montgomery County. It is just outside the beltway, outside 495. It borders on the Potomac River, and then it stretches all the way on the eastern edge to 270, so it's west of 270, and it kind of hugs the Potomac River, and it's pretty much comprised of a bunch of different neighborhoods, and it's one of really the first neighborhoods once you sort of like leave DC, get out of the city, get out of Bethesda, there's Potomac. So considered a close-in suburb for sure. Now, you hear of Potomac, you might be thinking, oh, there's the Real Housewives of Potomac. And that's that, right? So it's a suburb for sure of DC. It's known for luxury, high price points, big houses, and kind of, where the other half lives, so to speak. So, are you happy today? You should be happier. Okay. So today we're going to actually also, if you stick with me, we're going to debunk a long-standing myth about Potomac that people kind of like to say. So
stay with her.
You have to stay with me. So anyway, so there's bigger houses here, bigger lots. You're going to see more riding lawnmowers. Some of these houses, you're not even going to be able to hear the mailman slam your mailbox shut at the end of your very, very long driveway, because that's how big some of the lots are, and some of these houses are very palatial. So first we're going to talk about transportation and commute. This is definitely closer in, like I said, but there's going to be longer commutes here if you're trying to go to Northern Virginia or even into DC. If you're on sort of the western edge of Potomac, it is kind of a little bit, you're going to have to get through some local roads to get out of there and get through Bethesda. So it can be every bit of, 20, 25 minutes just to get down to Bethesda. And you're going to have to figure out if you want to sort of do River Road and then get into Virginia, or if you want to go down to 70 and stick with the highways. But you've got River Road, there's going to be speed cameras on River and Mass and all kinds of stuff. So you've got to be, watching for that as well. Now, real estate. I have some things to say about Potomac real estate. So generally speaking, Maryland is not, they're not big fans of like tearing things down, right? So Potomac's not a place where you are going to see people who come and go every few years. And so as a result of that, you're going to see people that have been in their houses for 20, 30, 40 years. People set down roots here. They raise, their kids here. They stay. Maybe even the next generation stays. So you're going to see that there's a lot of houses that maybe have been owned by people for, like I said, decades. And that said, you're going to also see some of these houses are going to surprisingly have dated features, and they're still going to go well in excess of $1 million. And you're going to be shocked that you're paying for things like old dated wallpaper, not the cool wallpaper that everybody's doing now, right? But the old dated stuff, or polished brass fixtures from the late 80s and early 90s, or textured ceilings, right? You're going to see this stuff. And the houses are still pretty hotly in demand just because of the mere fact that it's Potomac. The address carries with it a certain cachet, and you've also got great schools and sort of great amenities here to support all of that. So, can you try to be happier? Everybody wants to see your happy face. Okay. Leah? In the last year, how many single-family homes sold in Potomac?
406. 406
is right. And Leah, what was the average sales price of those homes?
1.496 million.
Very good, Leah. What was the median price? So the price where exactly the number of houses below is equal to the number of houses above. What was the median price?
1.296 million.
Okay. Sounds good. So generally speaking, you're going to see the house prices here are from the 800,000s to essentially the low 2 millions. There's outliers that are going to be lower than that, and then there's outliers that are going to be a lot higher than that. For the most part, you're definitely getting more land here than you are in Bethesda or Chevy Chase, which is closer in. There are townhomes here. There are condos here. There's a community here, Park Potomac, where you're going to get the bulk of the condos. And those are about 15 years old. And they sell for well in excess of $1 million. Like they started out at that price and they sell well in excess of that for sure. And then all of that comes with the prestige that you would expect from a Potomac address. All right, so food. There's a few different places. This is definitely the suburbs. I'm going to say that kind of over and over so that you understand that. But food, Potomac Village at the River Road is the shopping center at River Road and Falls Road where they intersect. You're going to have a Safeway grocery store there as well as a Giant. You've got local favorites there, which is Potomac Pizza. You've got Moby Dick's House of Kebab. Then there's Renato, which is an Italian restaurant. And then also you have Lock 72 Kitchen and Bar. Across River Road, you've got Hunter's Bar and Grill. When I went in there to snap some video for you guys, I met the owners. Here they are. They're adorable. And then you've also got Tally Ho Pizza and the On Bistro and Sushi as well there. And then the shopping area at Seven Locks and Tuckerman Road, you've got a Giant there. And there is a new pizza place from Connecticut. Leah, what is that called?
Colony Grill.
Leah, how much do we love Colony Grill in this family?
99.99999%.
We really do. I don't even know if there's a 0.0001%. We love Colony Grill. There's also Sister's Thai Restaurant as well as Gregorio's Trattoria. And then over at Park Potomac, you've got some other stuff. So there's a Harris Teeter grocery store there. There's Founding Farmers Restaurant, Gringos and Mariachis, and King Street Oyster Bar. And then I would be remiss to not mention, even though it's not Potomac, it's across 270, but just across at Tower Oaks, and it's Tower Oaks Lodge, which is part of the Clyde's chain, and it's a Clyde's restaurant essentially. But I spent many, many, many of my single girl evenings at the back bar there with my friends. Many. Before you were even a little thought in my mind.
That's not nice.
I know. All right, so family and fun. So there are country clubs here in Potomac. There are tons of trails, parks, lots of green space. The hiking along the Potomac is just unbeatable. You've got Great Falls Trail. You've got several sections of Billy Goat Trail. You can climb rocks and hike the different rock trails. You can also see gorgeous river views and the falls. It's really pretty amazing. And this is very packed on the weekends when the weather's good and all of that fun stuff. They also love their golf courses here. You know who loves golf? Potomac loves golf. They have several. You like mini golf. Potomac has several golf courses here to include Congressional Country Club, Avenel, and Falls Road Golf Course. And then there's also Potomac Day, which is in October, and that's kind of a fair celebrating the businesses. There's also a car show. Of course, there's games, rides for the kids, and the obligatory parade that they do in the fall at most of these. Yeah, for you. I know. It's exciting. And then we can talk about schools next. So Potomac schools are very well ranked and sought after. This is as good as it gets, you guys. The schools here are 9s and 10s. Most of Potomac is zoned for Winston Churchill High School. You've also got a little section of Potomac that's zoned for Wooten, which is another top high school that's in Rockville, and then another part that's zoned on the south edge for Walt Whitman. These are all top high schools. They all make many of the lists, the U.S. News and World Report, and the high rankings of the area. Now I'm going to debunk that myth that I mentioned about the schools. I know, they're all staying. They're all still here. See, they're all still here.
Hi.
So there's sort of this local legend that Whitman is the best. And a lot of times I'll have clients that are like, I have to have a house in the Whitman district. I won't accept anything other than the Whitman district. If you didn't get a house in Whitman, you were kind of considered second best. So there's this mad focus that actually can kind of derail people. And it also, I think, inflates the house prices in a way that maybe isn't justified, right? But, you know, your mileage may vary, of course. It just depends maybe what you're really looking for. However, in 2022, which is the most recent issue that's available of Bethesda Magazine's college issue, they put out all of the results, and I dove into these statistics to see, all right, which high schools are sending kids where? And if your metric is how many kids get into Ivy Leagues, how many kids get into really of the top schools, how many acceptances are there versus the applications and all of that, I have to tell you that Whitman stacked right in line with all of the other high schools in the area. They had the same, and some of the high schools actually did better. And it really just depends, because if your college is looking at the top high school, they're only going to take so many kids from there, right? So it's almost like, in a way, we sort of saw that some kids were better to go to maybe what wasn't considered the number 1 high school, but the number 2 or 3. And then they had just as much of a chance, if not in some cases better, because sometimes colleges were looking at some of these schools and saying maybe they didn't have as much of the advantage. But diving into that, it was pretty interesting to see that Whitman really fared no better than the other schools in the area. So don't be derailed by that like local legend that Whitman is everything and the other schools are garbage. Whatever.
Diving in!
Not garbage, but you know what I'm saying is that it was like Whitman was the be all end all. All right, so that is that. That is Potomac in a nutshell. If you guys have any questions about it, you want any more info, my contact info is coming next. But you know whose isn't coming next? This one. Nobody needs to call her.
This isn't your channel. People only love you because of me.
I don't know about that. Contact info coming next.